This club's about winning trophies. I'm inexperienced in a lot of those things.
3-0.
Can you believe it?
Almost lost the cup and you win it. The new European champions, the treble, the dream come true for you.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Football, bloody hell. But they never give in. And that's the winner.
Welcome to the American Red Devils podcast. I'm John.
I'm Alex.
And we are bringing you the best Manchester United news from this side of the pond.
Ooh, sir, how you doing? How you doing? United drop out of the FA Cup like a stone with a thud. Piss poor performance from the lads. Wasn't good enough. Frankly, just outclassed by a lesser side that seemed like they wanted it more. Seemed like they had their stuff together from the jump. Wasn't good enough. I'm sure all United fans have a special unpleasant taste in their mouth headed into that international break. How you doing? How we feeling?
Sir, was it a dropout or a crash out? I'm going to say this is a crash out. I thought, we have the better players. They get paid that cheddar, sir. They stack those bills up. They got those big wages. They got those nice cars. We got Paul Pogba. We got Bruno Fernandes. Look, the number 9 situation, that's not great, but you got to be beating Leicester City. I thought they played better as a team. They have a lot of injuries as well, sir. You got to think about that. But, you can't play like that, expect to win. No matter how you draw it up, right? You give them a goal, like, look, hey, Fred, bad game on Fred. But then you leave him in. And then he contributed to the second goal. Maybe Dino could have done better. But if you're going to show up to these games, Leicester City, they're third, we're second. It's tight. It could arguably be a coin flip. We're playing away. It's going to be a tight match, and you can't give it away. And we literally gave it away. We were always catching up. Never really got going, sir. I really don't think we got going. Leicester did show us the respect to start out the game. And once you give Iheanacho that goal, it's over.
Yeah, you can't be handing goals. That was like an assist. He didn't even have to do any work other than just finish. So shame on Fred. He literally had done something similar, 4 or 5 minutes earlier up the pitch a little bit, but he did not have a good game. But I got to give, my boy, who I'm usually all about, and I defended him a lot, Ole, got it wrong today, big time. And that thing they got wrong is, it's not a big deal you start Martial and Fred, is that you leave him on at halftime. It was so obviously not going right. Like the first half, we did not look good, didn't have an impact at all. Really, like they had lots of good chances. We didn't make much going forward. We were scrappy giving the ball away, and Fred was, he gave that goal right to them. So I think at halftime, you got to bring on Bruno. You got to go for it a little bit more. And I think because we got the goal, Ole felt like, I can just stick with what I got. And I think that screwed us. We ended the second half. We looked terrible. And they came at us, and they were just the better side.
No, absolutely. You're spot on. Look, Ole deserves criticism. It seems like when you look to the Milan game, not a great first half, didn't concede, but then Rashford goes down with the injury. He was forced to bring Pogba on. That's an uncharacteristically early sub from Ole, and then that was the catalyst to kick on and win. We only beat Milan 1-0, which is exactly what we needed, sir. And it's almost like if Rashford didn't go down, Pogba doesn't come on, and that spark doesn't happen because Ole likes to wait. We all know his management style. He likes to keep it unchanged. He drags maybe late 60s, mid 70s to get that injection into the team. And in certain situations, I would argue it has to be halftime. This was one of them. Fred just having a bad game. And it's one of those where it's like, help the player, like get him off. Because it's almost like Ole as a player believes that he wants the player to right the wrong a little too much. And look, Fred involved in the second goal, like right away in the start of the second half. And also it was just the same tactics going into the second half. And why would we expect different results? Why not bring on some of the players we had on the bench? Why not bring on Bruno Fernandes? Put Pogba in the 2. Bruno for Fred. Put Pogba in the 2. Change it up. The team needed something to change. We weren't going to win the game with that starting 11.
No, it's true. And I think the thing is, I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is ruthless enough with these players sometimes. I think he's a player's manager, which works to your advantage when you're dealing with a lot of big personalities, a lot of big stars like he is. But at the same time, he's like, Fergie knew that if it wasn't going your way, you just got to make a big change. And that's what provided such a huge spark on the Thursday match. And we needed that today because we got the goal, but that was the only thing we created in the whole first half. Otherwise, United had nothing doing. And to expect we were going to kind of figure it out with the same 11, he should know better because this has happened before. This has happened before in cup ties as well, where he's maybe tried to mix up the lineup a little bit and then reluctant about making a change that obviously wasn't working. Even when you made the quad sub, you left on Martial, who was played really poorly, and you left on Fred, who played exceptionally poorly. So it's just like I leave Donnie on or Matic on because at least Donnie, he was involved in that goal. Sir, we're not feeling good. Heading into the international break, great time to head into the national break, I guess, because we got to turn things around, and we got a lot of games coming up in April. They're going to be important.
When we were coming into this week, right? This is the silverware week. Where the league might be running away a little. I'm not going to say it's over. It's not over, but for most fans, like it's over probably. FA Cup, Europa League. We want both, but you and me said like realistically, it's probably one. Like one of them we're going to slip up, and if you think about how the Europa League draw went, which we'll get into later in the pod, Europa League's probably. For me, I want Ole to win the FA Cup just because we'll probably have to beat City, and I'd like to that beating a big team in a cup like that would be huge. Beating City in a final would be like that is something to really kick on from. Really taking shots across the bow in Manchester is what you want to see, and that might create some momentum. Going through Granada in the Europa League is it's not as not much oomph to it, but I'll take Europa League, sir. And so, hey. You got to win one of them, and now the math just got a little tougher because you only have one path, and in my opinion, it's a must-win for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It is the manager who needs to get these boys to win that silverware, and a slip up against the teams left, Arsenal, Praha, Zagreb. I mean, like, come on, man. It's like we are the best team, and it's like when you're the best team and you're in that tournament, you should guaranteed be winning it, and this whole squad's got to prove to the fans, especially after a terrible performance against Leicester City. And in cup competitions, there's consequences for terrible performances, sir. And that's what we're seeing.
We have, because you can't rectify that over 37 other games, right? Because like the law of big numbers says over the average, we have gotten better, but it's these decisive moments in games that are decided by one game that you have to stack up, sir, and you can't be willing to like not make a big change. And like I know you pull off Martial and Fred, that's a big change, and I'm sure it'll piss off them headed into the break. But Fergie was willing to do it, and like because you just have to make big subs, and he did it. He did it in the AC Milan game, sir, and that was probably the one that was, if you look on paper, the harder of the two. You have the disadvantage without the away goal. You're going down to Milan against a team that you would think AC Milan's better than Leicester City, but today they played us off the park. And we just didn't create enough. We didn't play well enough. We didn't have enough hunger in that match.
Sir, it's if Ole didn't lose 4 semifinals, what was it? 4 semifinals last year? We lost to Chelsea, same result, 3-1, and that was in the FA Cup. Then we lost to City, obviously on aggregate. We lost 3-2. And then Europa League, sir.
Sevilla
2-1.
So it was 3 semis.
It's almost like in those games, we had the same type of game today against Leicester City. It's just an off day. The team's playing well. We were doing well in the league. And then it comes. I mean, we already clinched top 4 by the time we got to Sevilla, but then just like in the one game in that moment, we're not able to do it in cup competitions. And that's kind of a terrible narrative to have, but it is the narrative until you break it.
It is, because you need to win silverware. Because it's like one thing, if we're kicking ass in the league, which we're doing better than last year, but for United fans, of course, we want to win, and City are running away with it at this point. So that feels a bridge too far, but we got to be winning something. So it's like, now you said it, the pressure is on Ole and these boys. They have to win the Europa League because United fans are expecting it. As we should, people left. It's like, who's the hardest team left? It's like, we got to face Granada. Then we either get to face Roma or Ajax, both of which should be winnable. And then it would be, big bad 10th place Arsenal. It's like, we got to be able to do the business. But you're right. Our weakness is definitely cup ties.
Nervous about playing, but like every United fan is nervous about playing Arsenal, which is insane to think about. I just think it's also it's a confidence thing, and you need experience. And, it's almost like a lot of it has to do with luck. Ball has to bounce your way a little bit, but it's like you need that confidence. You need that belief that you can win and get a trophy. And the players lack that a little bit, because when you look at Fred and you say, hey, Fred, like, a lot of people are just going to kill Fred today on social media. Fred is dead. He's dead as a doornail on social media. I haven't even looked, but I know it.
You just feel it.
But he has weaknesses to his game, and it's almost like your weaknesses are going to be exposed at a higher level. And you get to a semifinal, the pressure's higher. You get to a final, the pressure's higher, right? And the only player we know who thrives under that pressure is Paul Pogba, who might be leaving this summer. So with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he hasn't gotten the reinforcements, but he is due criticism today for that lineup and his adjustments, sir. But let's get into the PSA for the pod. We have a long time to break down this match, sir. It's going to be glorious. Can't wait. If you want to support the American Red Devils, you can do so via Patreon. Visit our Patreon page, www.patreon.com/AmericanRedDevils. Essentially, we believe in independent fan content. We want to be supported by you, the fans, directly. No sponsorships, no team viewer shirt sponsorships for the American Red Devils, sir. We are coming to you from the couch, that biased fan take, supported by one and only the fans. That's the way it should be, sir. We pull no punches against our ownership. We pull no punches against Ed Woodward, and we can do it because we're supported by you, the fans. Check it out. There's 4 tiers. You can do anything from $1 a month to $20 a month. Me and Alex are always pumping out quality pods, sir. The banter is always fresh. So if you're interested and you like the podcast, check out Patreon. If that's not your thing, check out our online store, www.americanreddevils.com. Click on store. We have blankets, shirts, scarves, stickers, everything, you name it. Pick up something from there. Proceeds go directly to supporting this podcast. Every dollar invested into making this a better fan experience. And while you're on our website, check out our amazing fan bloggers, sir. Tell them about the blog.
The blog is americanreddevils.com, and it is absolutely ripping because we have fan-generated content from people all over the world. We have U23 coverage. We have women's team coverage. We have transfer news. We have match recaps and previews. So check us out. If you're interested in writing for the blog, reach out to us at americanreddevils@gmail.com. We are always looking for new contributors. And another great way to support the pod is you can write an iTunes review. It's one of the best ways for us to be found organically, and it is an absolutely free way for you to support the pod. And even better, we are doing the never-ending sticker giveaway. So if you write a 5-star review on iTunes, if it's cheeky, even better, and send a screenshot to americanreddevils@gmail.com with your mailing address, we will get you some free stickers out the mail. ASAP Rocky. Sir, what else we got?
So that is it. Let's get into it. Let's break down this match. Leicester City 3, Manchester United 1. It just hurts saying that scoreline at the King Power Stadium. FA Cup quarterfinal, sir. If there was glass half full, it's the fact we beat them there to get top 4 on the last day of the season. We might lose the FA Cup, but that was a big match, and we did win it. Let's get into that lineup. Starting 11, Dean Henderson, Dino in net, world number 1.5. Telles at left back, big game for Telles here. Maguire Lindelof center back pairing, Wan-Bissaka on the right. Fred Matic midfield, Pogba on the left, Van de Beek at number 10 in the hole, Greenwood on the right, Martial at number 9, sir. Big names on the bench. What'd you make of this lineup?
You know, it's a bold 11. I was surprised, a little bit surprised to see no Bruno Fernandes. The fact that, if you look at our team performances this season, a lot of what's been good has gone through Bruno and Rashford, and to have both of them out is a little bit of a risk in my mind. But, I thought good to see Donny get a start. Pogba, obviously he had such a huge impact in AC Milan. But I thought the battlefield was being won and lost in the midfield. So that was what you're going to keep an eye on today. So what did you think of it when you saw it?
I'm not going to lie. I did like it. There's something from Ole, we talk about his tendencies as a manager and tendencies not to change it up and believe in his players. And I thought this was one where it's like, hey, I'm going to go with this lineup. It's bold. Hey, Martial's back from injury. Great. Pogba on the left. That works. I like Van de Beek in the hole. Give him a run. Fred Matic midfield. No problem. Telles, Shaw needs a rest, but we got international break coming up. So, this one, I was surprised. I was surprised to see Telles in for Shaw. I thought this is kind of where it gets a little too much. But again, you have to think this lineup kind of let him down a little bit, right? I thought Matic played well. Martial let him down. Like, this is a big opportunity for Martial. Arguably, you could put Greenwood at 9, James on the right. That's probably a better combination. Van de Beek, I also think you could arguably say he didn't play well enough to say Bruno should be on the bench in this position. Like, it realistically probably should have been McTominay, Montage, Bruno in the midfield, and then not Martial. You know, some of the players let him down here, but then it's on Ole to change it. Right. Once he realizes that he's not getting what he needs, then he needs to make moves. That's on him. So it's a combination. You got to split the blame both ways, because who could have predicted Fred would just give them a goal like that?
You want to get into it? It's painful to watch, sir. It was even more painful to break down.
So I think I see James on the bench there.
He was hidden there on the bench. He should have played.
Yeah, on the bench.
Should have featured, sir. I would have made some different subs, some earlier subs. We'll get into that. United, they come out tidy enough. I think we played decently well in the first 10 minutes, but the game quickly became a cagey affair. The 17th minute, Hendo, good save on Vardy, showing his dangerousness early, sir. And then the 18th minute, Fred gives the ball away cheaply, and Vardy has a good chance, but Maguire puts in a nice block there, sir. Fred showing risky. Wake up. Wake up.
Sir, sorry, the wife was calling me. I don't know if that ring came through on the pot.
It did. All good. Nobody noticed.
all good. Look, yeah, dude. You know, I think Fred, we call it bad giveaway, sir. Bad giveaway. Fred, like, what are you doing, Fred? Like, what are you doing, Fred? Like, just pass it to somebody, Fred. Like, this is some of the worst play we've seen from him this season. You know, when he's playing well, he's playing well. When he's not, he's not. And, like, this game, it's especially playing out the back with Fred. You talked about that, dude. It's like, you're a fan. So what do you think when you see him trying to play out the back? Not confident.
Fred's super fan over here. I got all. Sorry, I'm cheering him on because he's a Manchester United fan. But, like, when you start on Eddie Fergie's side, no. Never.
So I used to dog Fred, and then I got like a lot of like pushback from the fan base, and then you pushed back on me, and then I was like, okay, I'm a little harsh on the guy, but like honestly, I've always felt he's a bench player for United. Probably starts on West Brom. Something like that.
So I don't want to be overly harsh of our play. Like, that's not the MO of this pod. You know, I don't want to bash players at all, but Fred's not good enough to be a Manchester United player. Like, he's not a starter, and he's a CDM. And he gives the ball away. You cannot give the ball. Sorry, let's get to it. 24th minute. I mean, you just can't do this.
Oh, I like the Fred rant.
I don't want to rant on him, but like, dude, like you said, when he's bad, he's bad. And today is like, he had as bad of a performance as you could have.
Well, sure, I'll stop you there. Like, remember we bought him. He comes in, and Mourinho doesn't even play him.
I know, he paid £55 million for him.
And you're just like, why isn't Mourinho playing him? So like, he has good qualities, but I think his work rate, he doesn't get injured. Like, he puts in a lot of effort, arguably positionally a little sloppy, right? But he plays for the Badger, and then he can't pass. And like, when you're playing in the middle of the park, you need to pass. So it's like,
They had so many players in midfield that you needed to be able to pass through them. And like, we were playing a really dangerous game by playing out the back, and also how many players they had pushed forward. So they put a lot of pressure on Fred. They never do what he was doing.
It was unnecessary. It was unnecessary. They didn't have a sniff. The only sniff, if you watch the first 25 minutes here, they didn't have any chances for goal unless we gave them the ball in our third. And that's the crime, where you see, like, you can't give away the ball. It's inexcusable. And, sir, let's just play it. Just get into it.
Gave the ball away. We did, sir. The 24th minute.
James Maddison. Oh, and that's been given away to Iheanacho, and it's a gift. Leicester have been presented with the opening goal. Fred hangs his head, and in form, Iheanacho bags his 6th goal in 4 games.
So if he hadn't just done the same thing, but in a slightly less dangerous position, I don't even know what to say. I mean, we've been playing so well defensively, but you give the ball away, teams don't win. You can't win that way.
Yeah, but it's like, he did it once, he did it twice. And then he thought those giveaways weren't bad enough, so then he decides to like basically give him an assist. So clearly when he's off his game, he's getting worse. And that's what Ole should recognize. You didn't see like a trend where he's like, oh, I gave the ball away, and then like sharpen it up, right? And so if that's the trend line, he's got to go. He's got to go. He's got to come off the pitch, sir. He's got to come off the pitch.
Yeah, you know what? At that point, it's not even on Fred. By halftime, it's on the manager, because you got to pull his ass, because he was not playing well, and That's up to the manager. You got to make those changes. Fergie would have made those changes, and unfortunately, I think Ole got that wrong today. 34th minute, someone else was giving the ball away. It was Lindelof this time. Gave it away cheaply. Seemed to be in the mood today. Forced AWB into a big block. United were playing poorly at this point. And then finally getting something going a little bit at the end. 38th minute, Tellus put a good ball in. Martial doing nothing near it, nowhere near it. But then, during the 38th minute, came through Paul Pogba.
Van der Beek let it run. And the man that reaps the dividend is Mason Greenwood. Goals have been scarce for the teenager this season, just his third in his last 33 appearances. And the 12 times FA Cup winners are level. And the manager...
You have to say, we needed that goal. I'm not sure we deserved it, but United fans will take it all day long. Huge to get the goal when you're not playing well. And you've given them the lead to get it back before halftime. But great finish from Greenwood. Nice layoff from Donny and a good ball in from Pogba.
Hey, Pogba, difference maker on the left, drops the shoulder, gets the cross in, and then Donny, clever dummy. You see the class in Donny, he just needs more matches. He needs more matches, and that's why, if Bruno probably needs to start, Donny needs to probably come on. But again, great team goal here, and Greenwood gets his goal. That's what it should all be about. Like, he's the future, sir. If Ed Woodward's not gonna buy a number 9 or sign one that isn't under the age of 33 and has a better injury record, then Greenwood's it, baby. So get him more reps, because Martial ain't looking like he's going to be playing again. Not trying to get negative, but holy shit, does Martial need to start running around the pitch? Like Alan Shearer, we were watching the BBC feed. He just murdered him at halftime.
He wasn't playing. He didn't do anything. I mean, he was standing around, didn't go into space, didn't help his teammates out, didn't run towards the ball, didn't make runs off the ball. Anyway,
Greenwood. That's why getting this goal, I would say if there's a positive, Greenwood gets his goal. Where are the goals going to come from in the future? Mason Greenwood, and that's, you love to see him get on the score sheet. And here I thought there was hope. I was like, again, probably even the announcer said undeserved for United, but 1-1. Let's get in at half. Let's make some changes and come out and win and go on kick on the next round.
No, you're right. I mean, end of half, United still didn't look that good. Perez with a good chance goes wide, but it was dangerous play again from United. Headed into halftime, sir. You're tied. You're probably unjustly tied, but we did give them a cheap goal, but they were playing better. What's Ole saying to the boys? Whatever he said, it didn't work, but what's he saying?
Just looking at the first half, like I said, first 20 minutes, we look good. Again, I think we kind of come at teams early, and then we kind of settle off the ball. But Leicester had nothing unless we gave it to him, right? So I think there were some encouraging signs, but given that we had one player who gave the ball away so many times, you have to take him off. And you know what? Like in Sir Alex's tenure as manager of Manchester United, and you always have to go back to Sir Alex, he made subs in the first half, dude. And there's certain things that justify pulling players in a first half, and it really is in football, it's a very rare thing, and it's almost it's hard to come back from as a player. But arguably, Fred, I think what he did, he should have been hooked after that goal. It should have been not your day, son. Get McTominay in there and just put that behind us. And the longer Fred was left on the pitch, it kind of festered, because you saw it towards the end of the game, and he was going forward, giving it away, and I almost feel bad for Fred that the manager doesn't save him and take him off.
No, because you're right. Because it's there's being ruthless, and then there's being soft, and your player is not playing well, not in the headspace. He gave up the goal, and then he just wasn't playing well even from then. Even defensively, what he's always been good at, right? We'll get into that second half. It's on Fred again. The stuff that he always does well. It's you can tell he's just not having a game. You got to do it for his sake and for the team's sake. It's just leaving him and Martial, who were so poor today, for 90 minutes. Well, he came at the 84th, I guess. Ahmad came on, but still.
But when you talk about halftime, the analysis from Alan Shearer on Martial, if you can YouTube that, American Red Devils fans, you see Martial's movement, and it is abysmal. He is not moving into any areas. He's not really helping anyone. coming short occasionally, trying to play hold up, but nothing doing. And, I would say in the first half, when you say why was our attack so lackluster, it's because the focal point Martial was nowhere to be found. And, especially with Fred in the midfield trying to find that connection, Pogba out wide and Greenwood out wide were the only options. And that's kind of why our attack was sputtering, sir. And so, again, I agree with you 100%. I would say Fred at least, and then Martial probably in the 60th if he didn't turn up. Like if you give him instructions, if he doesn't make moves, then he's got to go.
You got to go indeed, sir. The second half, United come out like shit. That's how I'll frame it. And it didn't take long. In the 52nd minute, it was Leicester again.
The last of those was in 1969. This is Tielemans allowed to run and to score. Obliging defensive work from Manchester United allowed him to go on and on and on without a challenge. Leicester in front a second time.
When a player throughout his entire career has shown the propensity to score, to be capable of going forward. Once scored 18 goals in Belgium and just penetrating right through the middle.
I just had to see Fred drop off. Sir, both goals. That's bad.
Matic gets 1-2'd. Fred needs to be right on it. He does that kind of like
give away a foul,
athletic stance and delay, and then he gets to him and it's too late. And I saw from Hendo arguably, but Fred not. If you watch the replay, sir, you just saw it. What's your take?
Sorry, you think Ndidi is letting that through? You think Conte is letting that through? You think Yves Bosema is letting that through? Like, dude, like you're a top CDM. Allegedly, you gave the ball away. You should be fired up. You gave them that goal, right? You should be like on your. You got to foul him. So it's maybe it's on the manager. Be like he wasn't having his day. Hook him at halftime because
no. The first one's on Fred. This one's on Ole.
Yeah, because he should have been off the pitch by now. Yeah. So
also because if you just watch this goal, it's just too easy. It's so soft. Nobody has any bite in them. Like, Hendo, Lindelof, Fred, even Matic, really just like preseason level of intensity. And it's like, that's where, if you're going to let the first half performance go by and then not change it up, I think changing it up kind of like everyone kind of ears perk up a little bit. I think it affects other players. This goal, man, the way we came out, this goal, this is why fans are pissed. This is why fans are pissed. Because it's like, all right, you played like shit 1-1. Let's fucking go. Like, let's go. Let's get out there. Manchester United, it's a quarterfinal, dude. Like, we're trying to get to the final. We're trying to win this thing. We're not going to give up. And the second half, it looked like we gave up.
Dude, fans are pissed because the half didn't get much better. It's not like we responded well. It's 57th minute. Tellus flashes a looping shot wide. That would have been a dream goal if it went in. And then 58th minute, sir, Vardy misses a sitter after turning Maguire inside out. Maguire on the yellow just gets absolutely ripped open by Vardy, but he pulls it wide. Should have been 3-1. United, what are you doing? Holding your breath. Wake up, wake up, wake up.
Sir, and then you know what? After Vardy almost made it 3-1, finally Ole decides to make a change. Preseason style change here. Cavani, Bruno, Shaw, and McTominay on for Matic, Donny van de Beek, Telles, and Pogba. Both Fred and Martial left on the pitch.
No, you could argue that it's about bringing people on, but it's about keeping the right people on. Pogba had to come off because he couldn't make it fitness. But I would have kept on Matic and Donny van de Beek. I would have played Donny van de Beek in a lower position, right? Have him play 6 or 8 instead of Fred. But hey, this is how the game went. These are the subs that were made.
The example I have is, somebody tweeted us this. It's just like we're trying to get a goal, and we literally took off Donny van de Beek and left Fred on. Like, how is that going to help United get a goal? And this is part of it where we got to go all in at some point, right? 64th minute, we got 26 minutes left. It's like you almost got to throw the kitchen sink in, and you got to leave Donny on. And Martial didn't play well, but just for the sake of just having more attacking players on, I would leave him on. But leaving Fred on makes no sense. It's just like that makes no sense.
It doesn't. Also because every decent chance when we would take the ball off them, and inevitably went through Fred, and he gave the ball away a bunch when we were trying to go forward on the front foot.
Dude, he gave the ball away. Like we had a couple of flashes right after the subs came on, but it cooled off. And then like going forward, Fred literally gave the ball away 2 times in a row right before the dagger here, sir, in the 78th.
In the 78th minute, sir, you mentioned it. Dagger to the heart.
Any kind of touch could end up in the back of the net.
Old Brighton, and the header is in, and Leicester are heading for the semi-final. Kelechi Iheanacho has bagged another, and the Foxes are on the brink of the last 4 of the Cup for the first time in 39 years.
Oh, sir. Hello, darkness, my old friend indeed. Wasn't our day. We're out of it at this point. We weren't playing well enough. This is like, as soon as this went in, the team, they hung their head, sir. We didn't see any fight after this.
Sir, the fact that we let Leicester play that terrible goal song, the fact I had to listen to that 3 times is like, dude, get that, sir. I don't want to like just go on a rant, but you know that is so irritating, dude. Like just hearing that music, just hearing that once should make you beat them 5-1. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on, man. It's just like terrible defending, set piece. Who would have thought? I
mean, McTominay whiffs. Poor McTominay. He's been so good this season, and United were out of this game at this point anyway. But he just misses, and then Iheanacho has a free header. It's goal. That's game.
No, seriously, man. It's like, yeah, there you go.
84th minute sub that should have come probably 50 minutes earlier. Mod comes on for Fred. And then the last notable thing, 88th minute, Bruno put in a nice free kick. Schmeichel palms it over. And so that's all she wrote. 3-1, United to get bumped from another crash out. Like you said, it is a crash out versus Leicester City. United fans are not feeling good at the moment.
So it's a tough draw. First of all, Leicester City is a tough draw. Second versus third in the EPL. We play them in the run-in of our last couple of matches in the league. That's going to be a big one. We do it at home. And we're going to need to win it. So, you know, hopefully this, and they're going to have, they might have their players back. So this is going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Stats right down the middle. United 51% of the ball to Leicester's 49%. Shots on target 5-5, sir. Pretty even, but United just making it easy for Leicester City. Manchester United have lost an away match against English opposition for the first time in 30 matches. We were due, with the previous such defeat coming against Liverpool in January 2020. Since the start of last season, Mason Greenwood has scored 22 goals in all competitions, the most by a teenager for clubs in the top 5 European leagues in this time. Unbelievable. And Mason Greenwood has scored his first goal in 16 games since netting against Liverpool in January, which was also in the FA Cup. Indeed, he has more goals in 4 FA Cup appearances than he does in 23 Premier League appearances, which is only 1. Mason Greenwood hasn't hit the mark, but he's going to start somewhere, sir. This is the positive for me. The youngster getting his goal. He's dying for goals. He got it.
Yeah, because we've been missing that. And you know what? Where are the goals going to come from? We got there's a big concern around Rashford's injury, how big that's going to be. Martial is not in good form, so we need somebody. And then Cavani, he's I don't know how much legs he has left before he heads down to Boca Juniors, sir. So our boy Mason Greenwood, there's going to be a lot of pressure on him. Nice goal for him today. We need him to keep contributing those goals because he's a starter on this side for sure going forward.
Absolutely, sir. What do we know? We're just whinging. Got knocked out of the FA Cup. Let's check in with the manager, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Is it fair to say that one side was fresher than the other tonight? Was this one game too many for your side, you think?
Yeah, I think you might be right. You know, I feel proud by everyone. What they've done the last 3 or 4 months, since the season started. We've had a game every, I think it's less than 4 days between every game. And we've had quite a few injuries. And today maybe it caught up with us.
And to be fair, we always praise your team defensively. But do you think that the 3 goals that you conceded was of your own making? Like, I know the second, it was a good play, but it was easy also for Tielemans to go all the way.
You know, when you concede goals, there's always, you can point a finger at something that went wrong, that went wrong, that went wrong. And I think the lack of maybe energy, mental energy and physical energy in the legs made us drop 5% of what we normally do, and that's enough to concede goals instead of getting a tackle in or getting the pass off or flicking a header on. So unfortunately, we just couldn't handle what we've been so great at. We've had clean sheets for fun lately, and 3 goals conceded is not normal for us.
And of course, I know that you said that you want the team to improve, and they are improving, as you said. But does this feel like a golden opportunity for a trophy that's been missed now?
Well, when you're in the quarterfinal, of course, you see the end of the line, and you want to get to the final. We knew today was going to be a hard game, with Leicester having had a week to prepare. That will make a difference. Of course it will. Not going to make an excuse out of it, but that's part of the explanation. We had a great night in Milan on Thursday night, and everything's just caught up with us.
And just to finish with, it's been 40.
Sir, how are we feeling after what Ole has to say?
Does that make you feel better or worse?
Not better. I'll tell you what, I don't feel better. But I don't know if there's anything the manager's going to say it's going to make me necessarily feel better after such a shit performance. But proud, 5%. I tell you what, it wasn't a 5% drop off. It was more like a 50% drop off because it just wasn't good enough. Like Leicester played us off the park, and I know this is a good Leicester side, but we should be doing better. Like you said, we have better players, much better players. We should be beating this team, and it just wasn't good enough.
No, but I mean, what you hear from Ole is Ole Mr. Nice Guy, right? And I think fans, that in certain moments it's good, certain moments it's tough, and that's a tough interview. It's a good point. We did play in Italy as far as like the result was great, performance. I don't know if it was that great. Like we mentioned, like who knows if he's not going to bring on Pogba without Rashford getting the injury, and then that's the catalyst for us to have a good performance in the second half. It's just one of those things where we talk Ole being streaky, right? Ole's streaky to the upside, he's streaky to the downside. I still think we're bouncing off that bottom. We definitely ever since we lost to Sheffield United, so it's been a while, but we cleaned up the defense. Like we did that analysis. We're conceding less goals, we're playing better on defense, but then our attack just stopped, screeching halt. Then we get the Rashford injury, not scoring goals. Martial is probably you look at him last year versus this year and you say, okay, if he could do half of what he did, we'd be in a different place. Nobody's kicking on. Cavani's injured. Greenwood isn't hitting the target. And so while we're getting clean sheets, we're getting draws, eking out wins, we really haven't had that momentum we did in December, maybe early January, where Cavani was scoring for free and it was really free-flowing football up front. The attack was kind of moving. We lost that momentum, and I think Ole's struggling with trying to get it out of the lads. So international break could not come at a better time. We need to rest, get healed up. We have a strong push. Now, the whole thing is, yeah, I totally see why fans are pissed. I totally understand. We are definitely not playing well. You could arguably say in 2 different cup competitions out of 4 halves of football, we played 1 good one. And like I said, that was a result of a sub that Ole really didn't make on his own. And we need to turn it around. So the best thing to do is have international break. And then hopefully we kick on in the league and don't have to get in a nervy nail biter top 4 or Europa League situation, which, if we continue to play this way, it's coming.
No, it is, because international break, and then all of a sudden we play in Brighton, who are fighting for their lives. And that's a dangerous team to play, right? It's a desperate team, and they are desperate for wins. They know that United is vulnerable because we're not in top form in the moment, and we're struggling a little bit for wins. So they're all going to be important, and it's going to be a nerve run no matter what, sir, because this team.
But that's the whole thing is you have periods in seasons where you're just going to win. It's kind of like you have the wind at your sails, like Cavani scoring, we're killing it. Like Rashford comes on, he scores a goal, gets a goal. Then we're being unselfish. Bruno, you have the penalty. It's really easy. And then you have spells like this where you're grinding, just absolutely grinding for every single result. Like you look at Italy, that's a perfect example of grinding for a result. And you look how we started the Champions League. Look how we ended the Champions League. It's like you have the highs and you have all of a sudden the lulls, and it's how far in between. You look at different teams. Look at Chelsea in the first half. Look at them now. They can't lose. It's completely night and day. Remember, we were having a laugh at Chelsea. Now Chelsea are ever since Tuchel's come in, they look like a different side. And it's just sir, Ole's got to, he's got to drag these boys up by their bootstraps, got to get them going because, I'm not going to say that it's not concerning because it is. We need a catalyst. Is Pogba going to be the catalyst? Maybe. Is Cavani? I hope so. We need something. We need that spark. I thought it was Pogba coming on at Milan. Clearly, we still have things ailing us. But this is a team that desperately needs to get their attack going.
No, you made a good point. It's because we've been scrapping together, hooker by crook, getting victories. And if you're doing that, the defense is going to have to play well, which they have been. But today, it's like you gave up really soft goals. All three. Even the McTominay one, that's soft as well. Those are the type of goals you cannot be giving up when goals are hard to come by. And they were hard to come by. There's no reason it couldn't have been a 1-0 win today, right? Greenwood winner, that's it. Because if the defense was playing as well as they've been playing, we would win this game. It's just that the things that we've been doing well have been playing a tidy game and keeping the ball away and closing down well. Today we just didn't look fussed about it. I don't know. It was just, and it's concerning because it's a trend in cup ties. Ole, his trend has not been terrific, and today is an indictment on that as well. Granada is going to be a big test, sir. We have to win the Europa League now, and I didn't have to say that. I didn't want to have to be pumping up Hans and Franz. Pumping up Hans and Franz, but we have to. We have to win the Europa League for Ole's sake.
Sir, I'm president of the Hans and Franz fan club. Are you kidding me? I'm playing that song every morning when I get up, have my coffee. Let's go. It's just one of those things where you know why Europa League? If FA Cup for me is not a must win because who's in it, it's shitty, right? But FA Cup for me is you got to get to the final. Right. And then it's on the day who shows up better. I get that. That's totally fine. But you got to for me, it was a must get to the final, especially with Southampton being the draw. You got to beat Leicester. You got to beat Southampton. Then you have to have the final with Shitty. And then on that day, flip a coin, and whatever happens. With the Europa League, the only team left that might be tough is Arsenal. And so if you're really honest with yourself, there's no way we can't win. Now, if there was
no way we can't win.
Sure, but that's a must win because of the competition left. Now, if there was an Inter in that competition, if there was an RB Leipzig in that competition, if there was even a Chelsea in that competition, then you're thinking about, okay, I got to get to the final and see how we do. But with the teams left in Europa League, it's a must win, and you got to be playing. And unfortunately for United, this style of play over the last 10 matches ain't going to win Europa League at the moment. Even the Granadas, even the Arsenals are going to get you in a cup competition if you show up like this.
No doubt. So it's never been a better time for international break. The problem is I don't know how much break some of these players are getting. I heard today some are playing up to 3 games over the next 2 weeks. So they need rest. They've been playing an absurd amount of games to begin with. International break should be a break. It's not a break.
So it's World Cup qualifying. So it's no one's getting a break. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But it's also clear the head. If England win a few big games, we got Shaw in there, Hendo's in there. They play well and they come back with confidence. You never know. There's a big mix. Also, Cavani ain't going to Uruguay, right? So he's going to get some rest. Hopefully he can get fit. 2 weeks is a big amount of time. Clear the head and then get ready for a serious run-in with the league. For everyone want to yell at Ole today, this is just having a temper tantrum, man. You should be judged on the full book of work the entire season. If we're lifting Europa League and we have a strong finish in the second, ain't nobody going to be complaining. If we melt down from here, hell yeah, people are going to be complaining. But you got to judge it on the full body of work. And, FA Cup would have been nice to have. But, hey, man, we still got Europa League, baby. And that's just one of those sad things on this podcast. We start the year. We're just we still got Europa League, baby. We started the Champions League, and now we're Hans and Franz, baby. It's oh, my God, sir. What a year. What a year.
Playing for second, and it's the Hans and Franz trophy that we want the most, sir. The Europa League. We want to kiss that Thursday night finest. That's what we're looking forward to.
All right, so we got some news. United in the news. So we're talking about everything on the field. Let's talk about off the field. Manchester United. New shirt sponsor. Never heard of you.
Who are you?
Team Viewer, sir. I think Team Viewer is probably the European Zoom.
Maybe. Hard to say.
But big news here for anyone. Obviously, big fans of the club. You buy the kits. Since 13, 14, Chevrolet, the gold grill has famously donned the front of the jersey, sir. I have always hated this shirt sponsor. I feel like shirt sponsors are so important to fans because you look back at those kits, you had Sharp, Sir, Vodafone, even the even AIG. I have a good feeling about the terrible company that almost collapsed during the 2008 financial crisis. I have an affinity for because we won so much in that shirt. So the shirt sponsor means a lot, and there's nothing more that sums up Chevrolet than the last 7 years of Manchester United.
No, it's true.
I associate that brand with mediocre football.
You do. But, sir, the one thing about Chevrolet is you've heard of them. And people around the world have heard of Chevrolet. So, for better or for worse, what this speaks of is how much the Manchester United brand, because unfortunately we're talking about brand now as it relates to sponsorship deals, has been diluted over poor performance, poor management over the last 8 years. Dude, TeamViewer? Who? Who? It's like, dude, I ain't never heard of I'm in software, never heard of TeamViewer, bro. It's like they said they were in negotiation with an American software company. And let's just talk about...
You have to look at the data.
Sir, tell us about the numbers. Tell us about the numbers.
Okay, so the real big... So, yeah, first of all, TeamViewer Chevrolet, that's just kind of like, fan, preference. For me, it's... to get back to Chevrolet, sir, I'm almost done. Then we'll get into the numbers. I didn't like the gold grill. If it was only like, it was monochromatic, say white, it would have been, I thought it would have looked better. I wouldn't have hated it. But it's the fact they had to go with like the gold grill. That was like what I didn't like. So if TeamViewer is just white text with that dumb looking logo, TeamViewer, then I'm fine with it. As long as it isn't like all shades of blue and whatnot. That's just it needs to be one color. That's one thing for sponsors that you shouldn't be able to put like a gold Chevrolet grill. It should just say Chevrolet on the front. End of story. That's my biggest gripe against it. I agree with you that it's a big brand. Like brands I like to see associated with Manchester United, Oracle, Microsoft,
Apple.
Apple,
Salesforce, Zoom, TeamViewer. Who the hell is? Sir, it's like it speaks to like
Coca-Cola,
yeah,
McDonald's.
Exactly.
I'd even take Burger King. You know what I'm saying? I'd even take Burger King. The fries aren't as good, but I take BK, baby. I put Burger King on there. Are you kidding me?
TeamViewer. Tell me about TeamViewer, sir.
I literally would put Home on the Whopper on there, bro. That would be the text.
On the back. You say Home on the Whopper.
Home on the Whopper, baby. Like anything. But the thing is, when shirt sponsors come through, it's the amount of money that you're paid. And this is a mark to market of the brand value of Manchester United. It's really important to track this, right? Because Manchester United's shirt sponsorship has only gone up over time in the history of commercial deals in football. For the first time, the value of the shirt sponsorship went down by 17 million a year. So we're only getting paid 47 million pounds a year. It used to be 63 to 65 million a year for Chevrolet. And guess where that stood in world football at the time, 13-14. Where did that stand?
Number one.
The real estate on the front of Manchester United's jersey was valued as the number one in world football, as should be tradition, sir. The new deal, where does it put us?
Not number one. I think we're fourth in the league.
Number 4, rumored to be number 4. Now, when I say 47 million a year, that's only rumored. That's not confirmed. Reports in the U.S. say it might be even less than this. We could be 5 or 6. So now Real Madrid is number 1, PSG number 2, Barcelona number 3. Manchester United used to be number 1. You see us sliding down the table. We're also sliding down the table by any measure of brand value, by any measure of soccer club value. And this is where the last 7 years of the Glazer ownership, you're starting to see the downside of, sir. The stock took a 16% hit on Friday with the news that the shirt sponsorship was down. You never heard of TeamViewer. It doesn't make any sense. And it stinks of desperation. That's why the stock moves so much to the downside, because you're really starting to see no big time brand wants to be associated with Manchester United, because they're not what they used to be. And maybe cashing out United's brand and whoring out United's brand is starting to take its toll.
It's not the whoring out. It's the lack of investment, the lack of DOF, the lack of cohesive direction in this club. Sir, the analyst responded the same way I responded, which is who, and then that's why it took a shit on Friday the stock, because people were like, this does not speak well to this club that they're signing a deal at a discount when, if anything, over the last 8 years, football's only gotten more popular. There's only more. I know it's pandemic, but still, this is a looking forward 5-year deal, and the fact that we took a huge haircut, it does not speak well. And that's another reason why the Glazers and the owners of the Scousers, the team that not to be named, as you like to refer to them, are pushing so hard for this like automatic UEFA Super Cup, because they don't want us to have to qualify. They want that easy money to keep pouring in, and this is part of it. They don't want to compete, and they're already seeing that by like, dude, you're having these commercial deals depreciate in a massive way. This is huge. This is a bad sign for United.
No, and it's and when I said the brand, you're totally right. That basically like selling out is one thing, but selling out and then not investing is the issue, is what I was trying to get at. Is that like, okay, United was really great during the 90s and the 2000s, and then the Glazers basically decided to just keep taking money out, keep selling the brand, and doing nothing to invest in the team to keep it at that upper echelon of world football to be. And that's where the whole idea of the win-win, where you can invest in the team and make money, comes. Because if you don't invest and the team suffers, you're going to get a bad deal, right? I mean, like we talked about what brands should be associated with Manchester United. It's like, I think Oracle, number one software company in the United States. Like, it's like, that's where we should be at. And we're at TeamViewer?
Who? Sorry, I still don't know.
And if Eddie did like a 2-year deal, like, hey, it's the pandemic, we kind of did this thing because it's like Zoom calls and, it's going to be relevant for the next 2 years. And, it's the COVID, I get it. But then to do a 5-year with this?
Yeah, they're in bad shape. They're in bad shape, sir. I heard they were like, the other bids on the table were even worse, like worse brands. You think TeamViewer is bad? Could have been like Trojan condoms on the front of our kits, sir.
Yeah. To be fair, the guy who did the Chevrolet deal got fired after he did the deal.
At Chevrolet. At Chevrolet, though.
Yes, at Chevrolet. Yes, because United did such a good job at fleecing him. But this is one of those things where, guess what? That's $17 million a year less in transfers for Manchester United over 4 years. Not quite a Holland, sir. But a poor man's Holland.
But the difference doesn't even pay for their dividends, sir. The drop.
No, that's what I'm saying. So it's like this is your start. Sir, and this is why the stock reacted the way it did. This is big news. And for all fans, obviously who's TeamViewer, that logo I don't like, everyone's tweeting about it, but it's really the financial side of the club. You're starting to see this is not good news. This isn't going to help us buy a lot of players. The Glazers need to sell. It's a sad day for United fans. It really, there's no way, like Hayer, okay.
That's a big brand.
I never heard
That's
Hayer, but they're a big deal, in China. Like, okay, fine. That makes sense. And they probably pay Chevrolet prices, but then this company at a discount, I would think if you never heard of them, you got to pay more.
That's what I thought.
Right?
No, it means there was no demand. No, there wasn't a queue of top companies signing up to like, I want to be the sponsor of Manchester United, because they smell the brand. Dude, they know this club is poorly run. They know that Woodward's an idiot. They know the Glazers are parasites. And as long as they continue to be the owners of this club will not succeed in the way that it historically succeeded.
Okay. You want to hear Ed Woodward's spin special?
Well, let's hear it.
This is a new segment, the Ed Woodward spin special. Shit deal for the shirt sponsor. Stock tank 16%. What do you get from Ed Woodward? Quote, the club believed the contract is the most lucrative struck during the pandemic by any sports team and a sign of their commercial resilience. What a loser, sir.
I wouldn't even let him on the bus after the match. I get a taxi back to Manchester.
Sir, he's not taking taxis. He's probably got a private car paid for by Manchester United fans. Hey, man, you got to caveat the caveat. It's like the best deal signed during the pandemic. There you go. That's something to hang your hat on. So we're getting run into the ground, and it's only going to get worse before it gets better. And like, please, somebody buy us. Mackenzie Bezos, buy us, please. Please.
Glazers out, baby. Glazers out all day. Ed Woodward, you're terrible at your goddamn job right here. And look, when Ed Woodward does a bad job, he should be called out, sir. This is what we're trying to do. Ed Woodward, you're a Muppet. This is called a complete and utter shamble. Can't wait. And guess what? We don't know how much it is, but we'll know because they got to disclose the financials, and we'll hear Ed Woodward answer questions about the sponsorship. This is why you listen to those investor calls, because Ed Woodward's going to squirm when everyone's asking about this sponsorship deal. He's going to give you the spin zone bullshit. All right, next bit of news, sir. We had our Europa League draw. Manchester United draw Granada. And in the semifinal, we could face Roma or Ajax. Big draw. I thought we were going to draw Arsenal, sir. I thought that was meant to be. And look, we get Granada. Great news. Granada are not that great.
They're not. They're not in the best form. They're probably the draw you wanted. The travel isn't too bad. Southern Spain should be pretty pleasant this time of year. So, but this is like a Sevilla. They're dangerous. They're gonna be cheeky Spaniards. They're gonna play very technical. So we can't underestimate them. And now the onus is so much on Europa League because you got guaranteed Champions League if we really do start just falling apart. But it's all about that cup. We got to take home some silverware, even if it's the poor man's Champions League.
So they're 8th in La Liga. They have a negative 12 goal differential. They lost 3 of their last 5. You can't beat Granada. So it's like, this is good, but we played down to our competition. So I'm confident. But like you said, it's a spectacular draw, and it's encouraging that we got Roma or Ajax in the semis. If we get there, sir, obviously I believe we will. We have to. So again, great news for United fan. The pass opening up for the title. So I mean the trophy. So we gotta make our moves and lift it. And look, if we finish second and we lift Europa League, you're not gonna remember how shit it was losing to Leicester City in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup.
Big if. So we got to do those 2 things. We got to finish strong in the league, and we got to pick up some silverware.
Who can beat us in the Europa League? Honestly, dude. We can beat ourselves.
We can lose to Granada. Yeah, we beat ourselves today.
Yes, of course. Aside from us beating ourselves, who can beat us in the Europa League? In my opinion, no one. We are better than every team by a solid margin. And if we show up, we will win.
If we show up,
take it to the bank. Take it to the bank, sir. Take it to the bank.
If we show up. I agree. But if we show up, and that's the problem, is we're our own worst enemy.
Next bit of news. Solskjaer believes Leicester City defender Johnny Evans should still be at Manchester United, sir. Tell me why Johnny Evans is not at Manchester United.
Johnny Evans is not at Manchester United because Manchester United do not have a director of football. They didn't have one under Van Gaal. They don't have one now. They have one in name only. Poor John Murtaugh. You don't sell Johnny Evans for £8 million when center backs are always worth their money in gold, especially an academy lad that won titles under Sir Alex Ferguson. Utility could play all over the pitch. And you know what? He played today. It looked really good for the Leicester City defense. So he replaced their 75, 80 million pound player that we bought. Like Abdallah Blind, who's had some injury issues with Ajax, can't play. Like Michael Keane, who plays pretty well with Everton. These are players that you could use that are more useful than Phil Jones, more useful than Marcos Rojo or Smalling. It's just a director of football doesn't get rid of these players. They don't let Zaha leave without a buyback. They don't let Herrera leave on free. Pogba's going to leave for free. It's sir, one time shame on me, one time shame. It's it's been this trend, sir, over and over again. And this is another case of it.
Yeah, and who's in charge?
Eddie Four Fingers Woodward, sir.
So Eddie Woodward, you're telling me he doesn't do a good job on transfers, and he can't sell the front of the Manchester United's jersey, sir? Then why does he have a job?
Because he keeps the Glazers fat, dumb, and rich, sir. That's how it works.
Hashtag Glazers out, sir. Let's get into it. Fan questions. Enough news. Sir, this is going to be... You ready? Ready to turn up the heat in the pod bugger? This is going to be spicy.
There you go. Another Dark Ale.
Dark Ale is out. At Dave Paz on Twitter, quote, "I'm so angry right now I could rant for 10 minutes about not doing the basics right, but I won't. It's not good for my health. So all I will say is that was very unpleasant 90 minutes. There you go.
It was exceptionally unpleasant. This pod's been way more pleasant than the game was. I'm having way more fun doing this than I did watching United play.
At Jamal Mota, quote, "Sirs, we beat ourselves. Sat into our FA Cup aspirations and our phenomenal away streak. Keep our heads high and let's go on to finish second and hope for Hans and Franz silverware. Hashtag Glazers out. Keeping it real." At T. Zolski, quote, "Not sure where to begin. We were garbage from start to finish. Too many times in big games and defeats. Ole has no feel for the game. How Fred played 84 minutes is head scratching. Would have liked to see Donnie with Bruno, especially since we needed a goal. Have to win Europa League now."
It's a good one. That's a really good comment. It's head scratching. How the hell did he play 84 minutes is like, he's worried about hurting his feelings. I think because Fred's a streaky player and he's probably sensitive. You can see it in games when he makes his mistakes, he puts his hand up. I think Fred, Ole's worried that if you kind of take him off at halftime, it's really going to hit his morale, but he needed it.
It's the LVG quote, only in sex masochism is that allowed. That's literally what
and
it is.
Only in sex masochism. Then it is allowed.
84 minutes of that, sir.
You know what I mean? At Burkett Mets, quote, I'm disappointed to be out of the competition, but this is why what Ole said last week is right. Trophies are the goal of the sport, but they aren't necessarily an indicator of progress, e.g. Arsenal. One bad day and you're out. This team is still headed in the right direction.
I mean, I appreciate it. I appreciate the positivity. We need some of that today. And you're right when you said at the beginning of the pod, it's like this season will be judged when the season is complete. You cannot judge the season 3/4 of the way through because we're not there. Nothing's been cooked yet. And at the end of the day, if we end up with no silverware and anything worse than second, fans are going to be pissed. And even second and no silverware, fans are probably going to be pissed because there was some winnable silverware this year. FA Cup, we should at least got in the final and go toe to toe with City, right? Because you lose to City, okay, it's one thing, but like you'll drop out to an average Leicester side. And some of these cups we've dropped to Sevilla, Chelsea. It was like we got knocked out of sides and we shouldn't have. We should have played better and won those games.
Yeah, it is. It is a narrative, man. Like I would argue that Leicester. This is a good Leicester side. They have injuries though, but if you think of like the Chelsea one was so winnable, Sevilla, there's a lot of winnable games where you don't turn up, and there's a lot of and I guess we talk about the manager. It's one of those where like sometimes I'm like, do you guys know who you're playing? The players, do you know who you're playing for and what this game is for? Like it's almost like somebody didn't tell them, and maybe it's sort of this like everyone tries to keep it too cool a little bit. But starting like our slow starts, not coming out with urgency after a bad half. I have to think that where Mourinho, we'd have a bad first half. In the second half, we come out like crazy. I mean, what did Mourinho do in the locker room? What is Ole doing in the locker room? I'm sure you know what Ole's doing in the locker room.
No, he's not ruthless enough.
Guys, good job. You guys are doing good. Just like it's not like he's not going to be like, we need to win. Like he's not giving them the hairdryer like Sir Alex, I would think,
Dude, he should be like, Fred, go put your trainers on, like go put your warm-up clothes on. You're off. Like, are you kidding me? Because it almost sets the tone with the rest of the locker room. Like you make the statement by saying like, you're yanked, bro. You yanked 2 players at halftime, put 2 other players in. It sends a message to the rest of the squad that wasn't good enough and everyone's got to play better. Instead of being like, we got a goal headed in it, 1-1, just do better. It's like, no, it was not even close to good enough. You had to make changes early, and we didn't.
Yeah, sense of urgency, I would say, on the players and the manager as well. At JDW300, quote, we never looked like the better team today. Probably could have been much worse, too. In fact, Fred and Martial were useless and complete liabilities on the pitch. Time for a good international break to recover and prepare for the last big stretch of the season. I totally agree, Josh. It's all about that last stretch, sir. You always say it. It's not how you start. It's how you finish. At YelB10, quote, sell Fred. That's the tweet.
You're not going to get nothing for him, bro. How much can you sell Fred for? Like 15 million pounds? Max?
You probably can't sell him.
No.
I think Fred is a good squad player, honestly. I think that you want him as the 4th option because he's always healthy, right? You think about like the intangible, like Bailly's a great center back, never healthy. Cavani, great striker, 50% misses 50% of the games. Fred never injured ever. Like that's worth something at some point, but maybe not the starting CDM.
Yeah, he's not going to have to be the starting CDM of this club. If we want to win titles, Champions Leagues, he's not going to be it. But he could be a squad player, but that's a 55 million pound squad player, sir. That's pretty expensive.
Well, it's like, already down the drain.
Down the drain. He's not scoring again, sir. It's not Martial.
At Ty Kircher, quote, looks like they couldn't be bothered, and this was a FA Cup quarterfinal. Cup comps bite us once again. All in on Europa League, aren't we? Just really bummed I won a trophy. I got to agree with Ty. here. like for always saying we don't need trophies, I was like, I think 4 years without a trophy at Manchester United is like, that's 3 years too many, my man.
Yeah, it's one thing if you're like fighting relegation. You know, some of the United sides had some tough years, but this is a decent United side with some good players, and we've had some tough draws, but we've had some sides that we got to be beaten. And we got to be beating some of these sides. Like today, another one. You're going to be judged on that. And at the end of the season, we finished second, but you blew both cup competitions. It's not going to look good on Ole.
At MJ Fit 16, Fred is so frustrating with the ball, it makes me question his Brazilian citizenship. Sir, I think we did that today as well. He doesn't even play in the team. Are you sure he's from there? Lack of urgency from everyone else. The worst part is that it's up to somebody else to stop the City quadruple. That cannot happen, sir. They are in the EFL final, FA Cup semifinal, Champions League. They got Dortmund, right?
You know what I've been hearing about City quads? They talk about City quad every year. It's like, okay, I'm not worried about nobody else other than the Manchester United Football Club. It's like, I'm worried about us winning titles, us winning silverware. Ain't up to us to stop City. We should be stopping City in the title. We should have been like doing that. EFL Cup, they outplayed us in that game. Speaking of cup ties, we lost to a better side at that time. And today we played down to a side that we should be beating. You know, that's what's the most frustrating. We could beat that team with the players that we have. We just didn't approach it the right way.
Is there something to be said when we were getting close to them in the title race that we bottled it too, and then we bottle it in cup competitions? Is that too much, sir? You know, it's just like, is it when it's kind of like a little like if we kind of crack a little bit?
If we flub the Europa League, sir, if we don't win the Europa League, I think this team, you're gonna have some worries because, like you said, there's no big dogs left. We have to beat Arsenal, the hardest thing in the final. It's like we can't beat 10th place Arsenal. Arteta, tactical genius. And we might not even get to the final. You know, like you said, a final is like 90 minutes. You might not show up, it might not go your way, but like there's two-legged quarters and semifinals. If we don't even make it to the final, it's an indictment.
Yep. At Odell Red Devil, quote, painful, soft effort overall from the defense. Hopefully the break gets our lads some much-needed rest. It's amazing this season even happened considering everything. Let's end it with a trophy. United till I die, no matter what. What a great way to sum it up, sir. United till I die, no matter what. And that's what it's all about, sir. Through the Glazers, through the semifinals, to the quarterfinal balance outs, to the years with no trophies, sir. To the Chevrolets, to the team viewers, to whatever it takes, my man. Manchester United till I goddamn die, no matter what, bro.
No, hated, adored, never ignored. I love this club. This club is special to me, and it's special to a lot of fans. I appreciate the fans. The fan takes actually were relatively muted considering how poor we were today. So thank you to the American Red Devil fans for keeping it on the rails because I feel like one of you do. It's so frustrating, but that's the way football is, sir.
No, but sir, you gotta come you gotta go full circle. It's like you gotta be honest with our form. Our form's not great. We were in it, bad second half, not a great first. It's like our form. We have Rashford's out, Rashford's in and healthy. We might beat him. Martial might be on the bench. There's things that change games, and you got to be honest with yourself. We're like, our form is not great. We got away with one in Italy because of the Paul Pogba special. And this is probably more what we're seeing from United as of late. And I think we're just in a lull, and this international break could really help us a lot. Get Cavani back, get the mojo flowing, right? And it's like you have to know when the team's struggling, and we are struggling. And you think Thursday to Sunday, that matters, man. Like, that matters. And as a fan, the whole no trophy narrative for Ole, yeah, totally, that sucks. But you got to be a little honest with yourself and be like, sir, we realistically could have bounced out of both comps this week. The fact we're still in one, and you look at the field that's left, that's a positive. We get rest when we need it. It's like time to kick on. But it's up to the lads. It's up to Ole. This slide can't continue. I'm going to be honest and say, hey, man, Ole should have subbed Fred, whatever. But it's up to the manager to get the reins and turn this team up when it's needed, and it's needed to close the season. And we need Champions League football, sir. That is a must. If we fail at that objective,
he's in trouble.
We're in big trouble, and that's when you judge a season. We fall out of Europa League, we miss top four. That's a whole nother narrative. We get second place, finish strong in the league, get unlucky in Europa League. Hey, it happens. You do both, great. but it's going to results are everything in Manchester United, and the results are coming up. I'm going to cheer the lads. I'm going to back my manager, sir. It's all onward up here from here. And I think the international break, we can look back at this period of time being like, hey, this was it. Remember we got bounced out of the Champions League and then we went on a run?
We did go on a great run. We went on a great run.
We were first in the league after January 1st. Remember how good that felt? That was after the lowest low.
Sir, it's always darkest before the dawn. So there are 2 huge months of football left, April and May. It's going to be a push, a last push, and you're right. Never been a better time for international break. American Red Devils ourselves, we need to rest lick our wounds a little bit. It's been nonstop. We've been pounding that pavement. We got a big schedule coming up. You don't shit on your
players when they're at the low.
No, of course not. I mean, we did a little bit. We were a little harsh today, but you know what? All fans are a little frustrated, us included.
I mean, we were harsh on Fred, but Fred can handle it.
Tony, we were a little harsh on Tony.
Tony, yeah.
I mean, Lineker, he was like tearing into him. It's true.
Hey, Tony, we're sorry. Tony, we're sorry. We're sorry, Tony. Hey, quick update on the schedule of the podcast. We got international break coming up. You think we're taking 2 weeks off? We've been busting our ass all season. Wrong. No, we got 2 pods. This week we're gonna get the Stan Chow interview, sir, with a little news update. Keep you posted on everything international break, what the players are doing, how the matches have gone, and then the following week we'll do Brighton preview with some Manchester United history, sir. American Red Devils. The players might be rested, but American Red Devils. Pod never sleeps.
Pod never sleeps. There's no rest for the weary, sir. You know how it is. You got to keep beating that drum. Manchester United until we die. Now, greatest club in the world. Everything left to play for. Got to finish strong. Can't say that enough. It's like that,
Let's go.
Let's go. I want to get this taste out of my mouth.
Sorry, just FA Cup, bro.
I know, but I hate losing. An FA Cup.
Second in the league.
I wanted to go to Wembley. I wanted to take. I know, second in the league, but you got to stay there.
Second in the league, sir. That's all I got to say. Those Chelsea scum. Look, the American Red Devils, for fans, by fans. You want to support us? Check out our Patreon page, www.patreon.com/American Red Devils. Check out our website, www.americanreddevils.com. Great fan-generated content. Click on store while you're there. Check out our great merch. Write a review on iTunes, sir. Give them our top 10 cities on downloads the last 7 days. Been a big week.
Sir, number 1, how you doing? Culver City, California. Number 2, Hamilton, Canada. Louisville, Kentucky. How you doing? Langley, Canada. Appreciate you. Chicago, Illinois. Westminster, California. Las Vegas, Nevada. Brooklyn, New York. Number 9, Maggio, France. Appreciate you. And last but not least, Charlotte, North Carolina. Thank you to all
keep going.
Sir, thank you to all the American Red Devils. Los Angeles, Atlanta, Orrington, Maine, New York, Dublin, Ireland, Danbury, Connecticut, Washington, D.C., Telford, UK, sir. American Red Devil fans. Sir, Oslo, San Francisco, Seattle, London, San Anselmo, California. How you doing? Toronto, Manchester. We have the best fans in the world. We appreciate every single one of you. Join Patreon. Buy a scarf. Glazers out. Glazer out scarf. The sale never ends. That's the best part about the American Red Devils. The Glazer out sale never ends.
So I just want to see how many cities you would do. I think that was 23.
Keep going.
I thought you told me to shut up at 15.
Sir, shut up. Never stop shouting out our fans. I'll tell you what.
No, I'll tell you, that's what it's all about. It's all about the fans, man. It's like United till I die. That's what it's all about. The dark days, the good days. Sir, what a day coming through in Milan. That was big. If we win that trophy, that's a big day. Look, we had an off one today. Let's lick our wounds. International break. Everybody get some rest. And as always,
kicking a blue.
Kicking